Hey everybody, it's Matt from Sequoia CrossFit coming to you again today to answer some of your questions about fitness and CrossFit and Sequoia CrossFit. And today we're going to talk about something a little bit less traditional, something a little bit new, but it's actually something kind of old. And we're going to talk about ice baths. The question here is, what's the deal with these ice baths and why would I be interested in doing them? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Ice baths are basically a tub of ice cold water, usually with some chunks of ice still in there, that you literally submerge yourself into in order to receive a few positive benefits. The benefits of an ice bath, most notably, are that it's going to reduce inflammation. And so inflammation is when we're working out very hard and we're getting all of this blood flowing and we're tearing down muscle fibers, and all of that inflammation in our entire system is going into all of our tissues. And that inflammation can be good and it can be bad. The inflammation definitely causes muscle soreness. And so the first thing you're going to want to use an ice bath for would be to reduce muscle soreness and to recover more quickly. However, that inflammation isn't 100% bad. We do need that inflammation in order to have our muscles actually grow. As I've said in past videos, muscles actually grow after you've already done the working out. So after you've left the gym, you go home and you're resting at home that night, your muscles, and as you sleep that night, your muscles are healing themselves and repairing themselves overnight and the next day. And so that all happens with the inflammatory response. So inflammation isn't necessarily bad, but the ice bath is going to help you control that inflammation. So when would you use an ice bath? If you are trying to recover quickly from a really hard workout. Right now we're working ourselves through the CrossFit Open, and so right after the open workout, you may want to reduce that inflammation so that you can recover as quickly as possible. And so within 30 to 60 minutes after your workout, you would hop in the ice bath. Or perhaps you're just training, you're developing strength and you're working on building your muscles, building your capacity. You're going to want that inflammatory response, even though it's going to mean more soreness, because you're going to want that increased growth in your muscle fibers and tissues. So it depends on what your goals are for how you're exactly going to use the ice bath, or really when you're going to use the ice bath. So for today, I did my workout a little bit earlier today. I wanted to get the benefit of building that strength. So it's been a couple of hours since I've worked out. I'm nicely cooled down naturally. My inflammation has reduced for the most part. So now I'm gonna get into my ice bath. I'm gonna hop in this big tub. This is actually a deep freezer that I got off of Craigslist, and we filled it up with ice and water. We've got actual chunks of ice in here regularly, and we have to break that up to make sure that we can get in comfortably. You don't necessarily need a big tub like we've got here. You can do this in your bathtub at home with just some bags of ice, or you can even just do a cold shower, an ice cold shower, as much as you can stand. Obviously it's not going to be as cold as our tub here. This thing's kicking around just above freezing, all right? So it's definitely cold. So the technique that we employ here is that we're gonna do 30 to 60 seconds of fire breathing. So belly, chest, head, big inhalations and exhalations, forcing air in and out of the lungs to really oxygenate the system. You actually feel a little bit tingly, you get a little bit of a high sensation from being hyper-oxygenated throughout your bloodstream. Once I'm ready to get in, I'm gonna go ahead and exhale fully, really hold that empty lung as I step in, and avoid the reflex action of shivering or cringing at the cold, at the temperature, acknowledging the cold, but not really reacting to it viscerally. I'm gonna get in, and then I'm gonna dunk my head entirely so that I get fully submerged, get my entire body to really feel that sensation of cold. Once I'm in the tub and settled, I'm gonna set the clock for 3 minutes, right? And I'm gonna do box breathing. So that's a 4-second inhale, a 4-second hold, a 4-second exhale, and a 4-second hold. I'm just gonna focus on my breath, work through that cycle of box breathing for 3 minutes, then calmly get out. After I'm out, I'll do some calisthenics, maybe some air squats, some burpees, maybe hop on a rower, and I'm gonna go for 3 rounds of that today. So 9 minutes totally submerged, but in between I'm gonna let myself warm up, make sure that I'm comfortable, check in with myself, make sure I'm still enjoying it. Enjoying it is, of course, a relative term. Ideally, what's going to happen as we do this regularly is we're going to feel more recovered, we're going to actually have clearer skin, we're going to have more energy, more pep in your step, and really feel like we are ready to tackle the next physical task each day. If nothing else, one of the great things about cold water immersion therapy or ice baths, whatever you want to call it, is that it's pretty tough. And there is something psychological about doing something tough and unpleasant every single day and saying, you know what, that email that I have to send, that's a tough thing that I have to say to that person, but you know what, I already got into an ice bath today. Or I say, oh, that guy cut me off in traffic, but you know what, I'm feeling pretty tough today because I already did my ice bath. I was under cold water for 9 solid minutes. So those kinds of things, even if it's just a psychological effect, those are really important, and we want to see that effect. So without further ado, I'm going to get all set up, get into this ice bath, and enjoy.